What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast, where our success or failure does not hinge on the job of 1,000 people. Did you see that Jeff Kaplan story last week? From last week, the former Overwatch
Oh yeah.
creator,
Yep.
where basically the CFO of Blizzard told him in like 2001 that, or 2021, that like, hey, here's your revenue targets, your COVID targets that you have to hit, and if you fail to hit them, we're going to have to
1,000
fire
people are
1,000 people, and
losing
it'll
their
be on
jobs.
you.
What the fuck?
And he was like, yeah, that was his reaction to it. And he's like, okay, cool, time to leave Blizzard then, because this ain't the same company that it used to be. Very, very clear when you have a fucking CFO who just wants to deflect accountability onto other people. I am joined this week by my co-host Micah.
Hey.
And Carrie.
What's up?
Carrie, let's start with you. You had let's do housekeeping first, then
Okay.
we'll start with you, as is tradition. We have a Discord, densepixels.com/fans. It's free to join. You can chat with other listeners of the show and us. Plus, you can ask us questions in the post office that we answer in that segment every week. Of course, you can check out the podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/densepixels. Also, last week posted my initial play of Slay the Spire, of which since I played much more Slay the Spire, and I do plan to stream some very poor marathon gameplay at some point later this week as well. So you can look forward to that. If you prefer podcasts in audio format, just search for TMP Studios on the podcast app of your choice, because you'll find us that way, but you'll also find the Nerdpocalypse and Black on Black Cinema and the Look Forward Political podcast, which are the other podcasts in the TMP Studios network. And if you'd like to support us with zeal for just $5 a month, go to densepixels.com/premium to help support the show. Carrie, you had a bit of a really fun kind of like, if you had told yourself that 2 years ago you'd be doing what you did last week, you'd probably be like, well, I don't know what confluence of events would lead to that, but sounds fun.
Yeah. So this past Thursday, I got to play a full set of Hades music in San Francisco with Darren Korb and Ashley Barrett, Aaron Yvette, and Judy Alice Lee, who joined my band Premium Vintage. What a great time that was, honestly. Like, I am so fortunate. I am so privileged to have been provided with this opportunity. Now, this is something that has been worked on for basically 6 months leading up to this show. So the show is called POW. It's basically billed as sort of like a GDC after party. So they've typically had like chiptune people and other VGM bands and stuff like that. It's been running for something like 14, 15 years. Um, so, but this feels like the biggest it's been. Like, we sold out the venue. And I don't know that that's necessarily happened before. I think they may have done it once or twice pre-COVID, but yeah. Look, I like Hades and Hades 2 a lot. And it is so much fun to get to do the music with the guy who wrote the damn music. Darren, I can't say enough nice things about Darren. Darren is just the sweetest dude, and he has thrown so much support behind Premium Vintage, and he is just genuinely so much fun to be on stage with. His stage energy is so much fun. He's so easy to play off of. We got to do 2 songs with him just on guitar that he had never done live before, which is kind of insane to think about. So this was his first time ever doing King and the Bull and God of the Dead live. He's only ever done like the vocal songs like Good Riddance and In the Blood during previous Hades or Supergiant like concerts and stuff like that. So that was really cool. Yeah, I mean, we'll have a full show video out sometime within the next few weeks. I'm sure there's, the venue does a live stream basically every night of whatever entertainment they have going on, which is great. And then there were additional videographers there. And we were able to capture board audio basically. So we're sending that for mastering. And yeah, I mean, we got to do multiple songs with him and Ashley from Hades, since he's the singing voice of Orpheus and she's the singing voice of Eurydice. And then Erin Yvette is the voice of Scylla in Hades 2. She's also the voice of Dora. But for the band purposes, she's Scylla. And then Judy Alice Lee is primarily the voice of Malinois, but she also does backing vocals for the Sirens song. So she's essentially one of the Sirens as well. So we closed the set out with Coral Crown with like everybody there. And yeah, just a truly insanely fun time. And yeah, just the nicest people to just spend time with. We got dinner together. I had a great time. I think like I I've been attending conventions for a long time. And I spent a lot of time attending conventions with a press pass and interviewing voice actors and stuff like that at conventions. And I know that 95% of voice acting talent are like the most chill, down to earth people on earth. But I have also had the experience of a handful of voice actors thinking that they are fucking God's gift to media, and they come in with like a sour attitude, and that it, I've always gotten the impression from those kind of people that they're just there to collect a paycheck and just kind of get through it until they get paid. And that's not super fun energy to be around. So I did have somewhat of a concern that, that might be a possibility as far as like attitudes that we would have to deal with in the rehearsal space and on stage and whatnot. Not the case whatsoever. All folks involved were just so amazing. Just cannot thank them enough for their support. Hopefully we have the opportunity to do this kind of show again in the future. It seems like everybody kind of wants that to happen, which is great. Past Hades related shows have generally been either like acoustic or orchestral in some way, whereas this was like a full bore rock show. So it brings a different kind of energy, and it seemed like everybody just had such a good time. So yeah, just enormous thanks to Darren and Ashley and Judy and Aaron, and to the folks at POW who kind of helped make the connections. We had a great time, and we're hoping that we have the opportunity to do it again. So also just side note, and I want to mention this because this was something that I think we had talked about on the podcast. So Darren voices several of the characters, notably Zagreus, but he also voices Narcissus in Hades 2. And I think we had all sort of discussed on the podcast how Narcissus just sounds like Nicolas Cage. And so specifically, what Darren is doing with that voice is he is doing an impression of Andy Samberg's impression of Nicolas Cage.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
that was like my one fan question. I was like, I gotta ask. I have to know. I have to know. But yeah, just what a great time. Great vibes all around. Got to meet a lot of the other folks who work at Supergiant as well. So it feels very surreal to have the people who made this game that I've put many dozens of hours into just fully on board with what we have going on. It's really humbling to get that support. But yeah, God, just like what a fun time. What a great little fun time to a sold out crowd.
That's very
So
exciting. So,
yeah,
like I said,
so
I look forward to.
I'll be sure to post up that show video once I have the opportunity. I posted like a clip in the Discord, but we'll get a full show video out sometime soon.
Perfect. Then you've also been playing one game
Yes.
that you were looking forward to for sure.
Yeah, so the full version of Monster Hunter Stories 3 released this past week. I have I talked about the demo a few weeks ago. Demo was great. You can immediately carry over all the progress you made from the demo of the game into the full version, which is amazing because the demo was long and I wouldn't want to have to do it again. Yeah, I mean it's super good. It runs great. I'm playing it on Switch too. looks great, feels great. Just had I haven't had the opportunity to spend a ton of time with it. I'm also still trying to play through Chrono Trigger.
Mhm.
I haven't proceeded much. I did get through past the jet bikes though, so the jet
Okay.
bike
You
mini game
got to
was
fight the man, or I can't remember
yeah,
his
the
name.
man, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I was
bro.
like, uh yeah, that was fun. But yeah, Monster Hunter Stories 3. I've been working my way through, like, it seems like every companion character has like a set of side stories, and that you get to unlock things like recipes for foods and you know skill updates and stuff like that um through the various side stories, and most of the side stories are kind of straightforward. And then there's one where it's like, congratulations, you're in a racing mini game now,
Mhm.
which I wasn't expecting. It was truthfully giving me whiz pig flashbacks, um for better and for worse. So that's interesting. But yeah, Stories 3, super good so far. Even if you haven't played the first two Stories games, this one does not connect to those two in the same way that one and two are connected. So yeah, definitely pick that up. And knowing Capcom, they're gonna put it on sale in another 3 weeks for, $20 off or some shit like
Yeah,
that. So
as is typical.
yeah.
Very cool. Micah, you have been checking out the new multiplayer edition to Ghost of Yotei, Ghost of Yotei Legends. I remember you and I both quite enjoyed the Legends mode in Ghost of Tsushima when that came out, and they've done kind of a similar thing here with the new one.
Yeah, it's it's fun. It's super fun. You have 4 classes. Your samurai, which is kind of your jack of all trades, can use every weapon but one. Frontline warrior type. You have your archer. Uh, you have a mercenary, which is a character that is kind of heavily tools based. Using
Mhm,
gadgets and stuff. And you have your shinobi, which is your stealthy character. And it's the same type of setup. They have story missions that you can do either solo or with a partner. And there are multiple chapters in those story missions based on one of the Yotei six. And they culminate in what is called an incursion, which
mhm,
can be played with up to four people, um, where you take on like a like a giant, like anthropomorphized version of that member of the Yote Six. And yeah, it's super fun. And they also have survival, and survival is where you I forget what the mode is called in first person shooters, but you have to go to a certain point and defend it while the enemy characters are coming in to try and take over the zone. Um and it's wave based. It's super fun. It's one of those games where you can kind of get through it if you don't want to talk to people, but
mhm.
if you do talk to people, you'll be like way more efficient at it. Um, I think it's addictive, just because I really enjoy Ghost of Yotei's combat. Um, yeah, just a perfect reason to pick that game up again and and start playing. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Very cool. Um, so I've just been I've been playing a lot of Slay the Spire, which I have less to say about because I said, as much as I could say last week. Um, it's insane, by the way, that like the early access release basically has more content than there was in Slay the Spire 1, and they're yet going to add additional content like other like they're basically doing the Hades 2 to Hades 1 gimmick with Slay the Spire. So in Slay the Spire 1, there's one path up the spire. The zones are the same. Apparently, with future updates, you're going to have a different Act 2 zone and a different Act 3 zone. Each will have which will have unique enemies, unique bosses. that you can encounter as well, including like new cards and things of that nature. So, but again, like the early access release has more content than Slay the Spire 1, so I will be perfectly content with that until they add the new shit, which is great. And I've put in like 25 hours of that so far. And we're rolling along. But I've also just been just completely sucked into Marathon. It's so funny in retrospect, kind of looking at the previous, I guess, anticipation for Marathon, and the coverage leading up to it. Not helped, of course, by the fact that the alpha playtest that they did like 10 months ago was apparently not great. But I think people thought that like this was a very like cynical game from Bungie, like they were trend chasing. And they forgot that like Bungie is still this studio that prides themselves on putting a lot of diegetic like storytelling in their games, and they try their best to make their games feel like real, like lived in worlds to some extent, and really care about the details, and they've continued to just do that here. All the lore that I'm uncovering as the game goes along is really fun. The ARG that's currently running right now, which is going to basically lead up to the unlocking of the Cryo Archive, which is the fourth map, and this is supposed to be like the high level, like raid esque map that's coming. Has been really fun to watch from afar. Like I'm not participating in it because I don't have 10 hours a day to sit there and try to fucking code crack the cryptic shit that they're putting out to try to tease these things. But it's funny watching it from watching other people do it and discover that, and it's cool because basically like as they're unlocking stuff, it's triggering these cinematics that Bungie's releasing on their YouTube channel, that everyone can watch as well to kind of follow along with what's going. But it's really cool. And then just the game itself has been fun. I've been primarily playing solos, and I've really found a lot of enjoyment with that because I feel like that's really taught me the right way that you should be playing the game. Turns out your biggest enemy in Marathon, which is probably true of most extraction shooters, is noise. And you really have to be conscious about how much noise you're making, even to the point of like if you're in a building, like and you're like peeping corners, maybe crouch walk for a little bit instead of doing your regular walking, and certainly don't sprint because if you sprint, you're just going to be the loudest shit, and any other runners in the building and also the robots can hear you and will investigate you to see what's going on. And likewise, sometimes it's best like if you think you hear something, just like stop for a second and just like listen out, because other runners who are not careful expose themselves very easily with some of the things that they do. And I've gotten a lot of easy kills by people doing very stupid things, um by just not being careful, by being very careless about how they're moving around the map. And I will say that the thing that's been probably the most fun about this game has been because it's shoot on sight, because it's highly PvP focused compared to like Arc Raiders. You can be just an absolute fucking scumbag, and it's like deliciously fun. Like had like couple things that I've done recently. So there's a solo match over the weekend that I played where a runner triggered so the exfil points, there's like regular exfil, and then there's a guarded exfil. And when you trigger a guarded exfil, an enemy ship will come in and they'll deploy troops like bots that you have to fight off while you're waiting for the exfil point to go online, because like from triggering it takes like a minute before it's ready to like beam you out of the map essentially. And I saw the guard exfil was the only one on the map. Like I had a lot of shit with me, so I was like, all right, it's time to fucking get out of here. Time's almost up. And so I'm carefully going down, and I look and I see the exfil's already been triggered. I was like, shit. And I see that there's a bunch of bots like focused at this like shipping crate that I guess the runner who triggered it was behind. And the exfil was ready for extraction. And like the final countdown timer doesn't start until a runner actually is in this like the circular area that's around the point, right? And so I was using the assassin shell, so I went invis basically and just snuck right into the access point while he was fighting these fucking bots. And I basically fucking shot out of there with the exfil that he triggered. And then like for 30 seconds after the match, it swings you to the perspective of another player that's on the map essentially. and it was that player who I stole the exfil from, and I got to watch the bots kill him, which was very funny and very sad for him, unfortunately. Got my first gold loot, which is the highest rarity, by killing another player, by outdueling a player who I think was better than me. So that was really fucking satisfying as well. Also got like also had an exfil steal. Like someone triggered an exfil while he was waiting. Again, he wasn't being very careful in the area, so I was able to easily sneak up, sneak around him, kill him, take his stuff, and then use his exfil point to get the hell out of there. Um, Rook runs have been fun because, especially with the new map that released last week, Outpost. Outpost is a very small map, but it's very dense, very vertical. It's got a lot of buildings and stuff like that in it. And then there's a base that sits above the map that's hard. Like you have to do some crazy shit to even get in there, but it has like a lot of really good loot. But once one team opens it, you can kind of follow them up if you want to, if you know where you're going. So I've been using Rook runs to kind of learn the map layouts. And Rook is the scav character where you drop in as a solo in trios matches, but you come in like halfway through the match. So kind of the whole point is for you to go in there, look around for shit, maybe loot some corpses of dead runners that have been killed, try to pick up stuff that people missed, and then get out. And so I ratted in to the base for the first time, found some really good shit. Came across another Rook who again did not see me. They have a class of weapons in this game that have like tracking bullets on them. So basically, like once you lock onto an enemy, even if he starts moving, like the bullets will follow them. So I was able to easily kill him with that. Stole some good shit from him, dropped down from the base. And that was a fun one too, because on Outpost they have these secure exfil locations that you need to steal like a security access card to access, and I did not have one. And the only exfils on the map were these. I was like, shit. Well, I was trying to like trigger this location. It's like, no, you don't have permission. It's like, fuck, that fucking sucks. And then what happens in Marathon is that all the maps are timed. Like you have a 25-minute timer. When it gets to 0, it unlocks like this final exfil location on the map that is in a minute, it's gone. And if you're still on the map at that point, you die. And I literally had to hoof it like halfway across the fucking map in that minute in that minute time span. But I made it out, and that was really fun. Like I got to the exfil point with like 5 seconds left. There was another Rook in the exfil, so I had a smoke grenade. I fucking threw smoke in there, and then so we couldn't see each other, so he wouldn't try to fucking kill me. And then and then we both got out, which was a lot of fun as well. It, like I said, it's just a game that creates a lot of really fun moments. Lot of painful moments too. Rest assured. But at the same time, like what I found is very few moments where I have died where I didn't just get outplayed. And like you can be salty about that. And like if your tendency is to be salty about that, then you're gonna probably have a pretty bad time. But it also like my inclination is like if I get outplayed, like right before he fucking stabs me to death and kind of puts like once I'm in knockdown state, I'll get on prox chat and be like, oh fucking you got me, bro, GG's, like like good shit, and then they fucking stab me and that's it. So like I said, if you go in kind of just like I said last week, if you go into understanding what the game is and what the loop is, and just understanding that like look, sometimes you're gonna have a run where you go in with a bunch of good shit and you die in 5 minutes and you lose all that shit and that fucking sucks. But then that makes up for the runs where you go in with like the free shitty kits and just manage to get lucky against another runner who has like a blue gun on them that you can then take and then get a bunch of cool shit and then exfil and walk out with like a $6,000 loot haul like that you can then use on future runs and shit like that. So it's been great. Micah, I want to recommend this to you so bad, but I know that it's just not your jam. So.
Yeah, I don't know if this game is for me. I've been doing a little research on it, and I just aside from how it looks, right? Like I think it looks it hits my eyes the wrong way,
Mhm.
but I feel like I could get used to it. I just don't know if this type of game is for me anymore.
It's It's very sweaty. It's very
Yeah.
sweaty. Like it is definitely the sweatiest game that I've ever played. And I'm comparing that to like, you know, the brief period of time in Destiny where I was actually like playing
I was gonna say
trials and
you
shit like that. Now,
you played a lot of Destiny for a minute.
well, regular Destiny PvP is fine. Regular Destiny PvP is just for the funsies. Trials was like where the sweats go every week to fucking
Okay.
to like Trials of Osiris was where people went to like sweat it out. And I
Yeah.
remember those matches. And this feels sweatier than that just because again, like especially when you were and again, I'm 20 some hours into the game and I'm still relatively what I would consider low level. Like most of my shields are green when I have a shield, um, which is not a lot of protection. Like you need like blues and purple shields to have good protection. And if someone gets the drop on you, unless you massively like fucking god tier outplay them, or unless they just completely biff it, you're probably gonna die. Like that's the thing. It really is like whoever spots the other one first and lands the first volley of shots is probably gonna come out of that encounter the right way. Like it really is one of those things where someone gets the drop on you, run. Like just get away. Like that's the thing. And fortunately some of the runners have some skills that are really good with that stuff. Like for example, like the thief shell, which I've really been using more and more in solo play. She has like a grapple that doesn't require you to like she can PS1 Spider-Man essentially. Like she can grapple onto the air to quickly get herself away and out of a situation, which is very handy to have for sure. She also has like a the visor that she can flip down that hacks the bot enemies and also hacks the runners as well. And when you get hacked, it's basically like getting hit with the fucking blooper in Mario Kart, where it throws shit all over your fucking screen for a couple seconds and makes it so you can't really fucking see anything. So if you get the drop on somebody and hack them, and like they're easy pickings at that point because they're just like I don't know what to do. So like I said, it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, I was thinking about you, Micah, and I was like, should I tell Micah to play this? And I was like, no, I
Yeah,
don't
this is one of
I
those
don't
games
think
that
it would be his jam.
I don't think I have it in me
Yep.
anymore.
Which is fair. Which is fair. Like I completely understand that. Because this is one of those games where just like some matches, like you just like you gotta take a deep breath when you're done. You're just like, all right,
Yeah,
like gotta restabilize. All right, well let's move on into the news here this week. Guys, I like again, world events going on right now. We all know some people are really struggling out there, especially in this economy, the K-shaped economy that we have going on, especially in the U.S. with the people running things that are running. And look, all of us are out here suffering, and that includes Epic Games, who it's hard to run the most successful game on the planet, because they announced last week that they are actually increasing uh, the cost of V-Bucks. So basically, coming up on March 19th, V-Bucks are going to get reconfigured from a currency standpoint. So like right now, for example, if you spend $8.99 in Fortnite of US dollars, you can get yourself 1,000 V-Bucks. But after this change goes into effect, $8.99 will only get you 800 V-Bucks. So they're literally 20% reduction in the V-Buck exchange rate right now. And the reason for this, Epic put this out in a blog post to announce this change, and they said, "quote The cost of running Fortnite has gone up a lot, and we're raising prices to help pay the bills."
And we're passing those costs on to you.
Yeah, my I don't know what the last year they reported uh annual revenue Epic was. I think it was like 2023, and I want to say like their annual revenue was like upwards of $5 billion.
Oh god.
Now they are seeing player churn, as everybody is, especially in this post-COVID world,
Yeah.
right? Like obviously they are not at the lofty peaks that they were at during, when everybody was fucking stuck inside. But come on, you're gonna fucking come out here and be like, guys, you gotta pay the bills. That's why we gotta. We got like.
Yeah, what you don't understand, Brad, is a very complicated concept in economics. It's called number go up,
Right.
and it's like a function. It's like number go up, and then it's a flow chart. There's a yes, there's a good, more money,
Yeah.
and if it's no, it's like, oh no, more money,
Right.
and that's how that works.
I gotta tell you, I don't even have a problem with them raising it. Honestly, I don't. Like if they did, I'd be like, yeah, that happens all the time everywhere.
Yeah.
We see inflation in games as well. Why wouldn't we see it in microtransactions? It's the fucking bill statement that really
Yeah,
like if they're gonna do it, I want to just put out a blog post, be like, hey, we're raising the price of V-Bucks. Why? Because fuck you. That's why. I would respect that.
Like you know what this is,
Right.
right? Like you know what this is. I haven't been robbed. I know Terrence has been robbed before, and it's just like, come on, man. You know what you know what this is. And it's like, all right, I get it. It's like, here it is. Like, I get it. I know what it is. But telling me I'm stupid is is making excuses. That's the real insulting part.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
get your V-Bucks now, I guess, if you want to stock up before the before inflation hits you in Fortnite. And like Jay and I were talking about this on Look Forward last week. Like it's so funny to have all these Republican politicians in the face of all these oil prices skyrocketing because of the war that we.
You don't want to know how much I paid for gas today, man.
I'm more. I mean, I paid a lot for gas today, and you probably paid at least 30% more than I did. I'll tell you that. But
you over 5 yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh bitch, we been over 5.
Yeah, we had 390. So
Fuck you.
No, shit, I got a bargain. I paid 345 today.
I paid. Fuck you. Fuck yourself. I paid $5.19 today, and that's at the cheap station on San Pablo Avenue in Pinole. That's at the fucking cheapo marathon. Everywhere else, it's like fucking $5.70 and up.
I just like I said,
I have to drive every goddamn day.
But I just love how like all these Republican politicians are on TV talk about the war, be like, well, Americans, like we all have to sacrifice. We all have to sacrifice and pay a little more, but it's the right thing to do. And like me and Jay were talking about last week, it's like it's funny that the gas companies never need to be the ones to
they don't have to
sacrifice
suffer.
and to tighten their belts and to maybe make a little less profit. Not revenue, just a little less profit.
Right.
Right. Maybe we only make $6 billion. Maybe Exxon only makes $6 billion in profit this year instead of 8.
Oh man.
How will they live? That's 25% less. I'm sure they'll figure out a way. So, speaking of loot boxes, the New York Attorney General. Well, actually, no. There's 2 loot box stories. Did I put them in the wrong order?
You put the
No,
European
yeah,
one
I
first.
did. I'll do the EU one first. The EU has been particularly strident, pushing back against loot boxes in gaming for a couple of years now through different legislation and things of that nature. And we've seen probably one of those visible impacts of this that they announced last week as well, when PEGI, which is basically the ESRB equivalent in Europe, announced that all games that have loot boxes in them will be required to have a 16 and up rating, which is a change from how things have been before, which legally means in the EU and in the UK as well, that they legally cannot be sold to children 15 years of age or under in any country that has PEGI legislation. They also said that they are going to require any online games that don't have blocking or reporting features to be required to be rated PEGI 18 as well coming up. Which
they also mentioned anything with NFTs or blockchain related mechanisms will be instantly rated PEGI 18.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this is a cosmetic change to be sure.
Yeah.
However, movie studios, even today, in the US at least, I can't speak for elsewhere around the world, but movie studios in the US go out of their way to make sure that if they have like a borderline film that kind of teeters on between an R and a PG-13 rating, they will always make changes to get the film down to a PG-13 rating, because films that are rated lower tend to do better at the box office in general. I have to expect, and again, like, we're kind of divorced from it because we're kind of in the mix of it and we kind of know the nitty gritty of a lot of the games. But I have to imagine for Joe Customer, who's out there that doesn't nerd out about this shit like we do, the same has to kind of apply in the gaming space as well. And so when you're FIFA and you're used to carrying a PEGI 3 rating, which is what they've had on that game for ever, as far as I know, which is basically their equivalent of the E for everyone that we use here. And all of a sudden, that's going to be like a PEGI 16 now. I could see that possibly having not an insignificant impact on your sales, especially because I remember when I think I was 11, and I wanted to rent Street Fighter 2 Turbo from the Blockbuster. And my mom said, "I don't know if you should get this. It's rated teen." And I was like, "Mom, I've played it before. I've played things that are worse than this before. Just let me rent the Street Fighter game, please." Which she did. But like, my mom is like the average customer, and the fact that she had to pause to question it leads me to believe that this might not be great for games like FIFA and other games that have loot boxes in them that might have gotten by with lower ratings that are now going to have a higher standard to go against.
It must be nice to, yeah, like you said, it is kind of window, like, making up a rule is all fine and good, but it's useless if nobody enforces it. But it's at least bringing to light, the fact that, like, these things are, and look, maybe over there they pay attention and they care about certain things. Um, we're kind of backwards from the rest of the world, whereas, like, you got games where you can kill anybody and anything, anywhere, anytime with any device. But like, if you see a nipple, then it's like, whoa, 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 this is outrageous, right? You could beat someone to death with a dildo, but if you use it for what it's designed for, then you're in fucking trouble, right?
That's true. It's a good point. It's a really good point.
So,
Or just even having like a mod that has a sexual scene
right.
in it
Right.
forces the game to be reclassified, even though 99.999% of the people that play it wouldn't even have any clue on how to access it.
Right. If you hadn't have said anything, it would
Right.
have been a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, Streisand affected it into existence. Man, it'd be cool if the ESA had a similar level of teeth here in
But
this
they don't.
country. No, well, it's because here in this country we don't care about regulating and rating in
Fucking anything.
Yeah, so,
Apparently.
I mean, that's also true, but especially reining in corporations from overstepping and overreaching. Except in some small cases. So the story I was getting to earlier, the New York Attorney General is suing Valve, accusing them of promoting, quote, illegal gambling through its in-game loot boxes. Now, a lot of people are saying, why are they going after Valve? And if you're not familiar with Valve, this may be a surprise, but Valve does have loot boxes in 3 of their big games. So Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Team Fortress 2 all have like cosmetics that you can get in the game. And the reason that Valve is being going after specifically is because, especially in Counter-Strike, like more so than the other games, you can actually sell those cosmetics on the Steam marketplace. They have like a trading marketplace
Yeah.
on Steam that you can sell those cosmetics for real money. Some of which go for hundreds or thousands of dollars. And the thing about it is that Valve gets a cut
Yeah.
of every sale that's made. And so a lot of the money that Valve makes, not like the majority, but like an appreciable amount of money Valve makes is literally from skin trading with like Counter-Strike skins and stuff like that in the Steam marketplace. And so I think that's why the New York AG is going after them specifically, just because of that extra layer where Valve, is getting cut. Because, like, for example, like, Overwatch doesn't have loot boxes anymore, but when they did, you couldn't. It's not like you could sell those to people, at least not legally in the game, or even in a legal way outside of the game. Like, there was no like Blizzard marketplace that you could sell those skins to for people, but Valve does do that. Valve has said that they are going to fight this lawsuit. Their argument is that mystery boxes are widely used across other games, and they also exist in the real world
Here's
with
the thing.
baseball cards and Pokemon and
Yeah,
Labubu. But
those are
Labubu.
still a form of gambling.
Look, here's the thing. The difference between a Labubu and a loot box in a video game is that a Labubu does not make fucking the jingly jangly casino noises that hit the fucking dopamine receptor in your brain when you open it. You just end up with a Labubu. I have 2 Labubus within arm's reach currently.
Well, I think
but-
I think it's more than that though. I think it's also because I don't know what the loot box animation in
Right.
Counter-Strike looks like. Like I don't know if that's the thing. I think the bigger thing is like if I get a Pokemon card,
Yeah.
and Carrie's like, "Ooh, that's a rare Pokemon card. I want to buy it from you," and I sell it to you. The Pokemon company is not getting a cut of the
That
sale
too.
that
That too.
like
Now,
like
what
that I
I
sell
will
to you.
say
So.
is, and I can speak to this because my boyfriend manages a card shop that does like Pokemon and Magic and One Piece and all that. And there are people who really do treat these fucking card games like gambling. There are dudes who will come in sweating, lying to their wives about where they are, spending $400, $500, $600 on fucking One Piece, hoping that they get a big hit that they can then sell on eBay after they get it graded for a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
So there are certainly people that do that, but again, it's like the fact is that, like, if I open up a pack of Pokemon cards, I know I'm gonna get 10 cards of varying rarities, and I might get something like a special illustration rare or something like that. But there's not the casino like slot machine emulating kind of stuff
Yeah,
because
basically, so what you're saying is the loot boxes are worse than those.
yeah,
So,
they're
it's
worse. They're worse gambling.
It's worse in the same way that like FanDuel and DraftKings is worse than having to go to a fucking casino to
Right.
sports
Yeah.
bet. Right? Like
Yeah.
like that's how it's worse. And again, like you have the underlying thing that we've beaten to death about Valve, like taking a cut of the sale. And their argument is like, hey, we have to do that because it helps prevent fraud on the marketplace, which is correct. Like if you're regulating it in that way, but also like you're profiting from it. Like you can't sit here in one hand and be like, hey, this is all cool and above board and we think it's totally fine, while not on the other hand acknowledging that like, hey, we're also making millions of dollars from this every year with these sales that happen through the marketplace, essentially. So this will be interesting to see what happens here. Again, Valve is standing up. I mean, so like this is where Valve kind of like the libertarian streak comes through. Not always for good, because their argument is like, hey, like transferability of these assets is a right that we don't think should be taken away from people. And we're not going to do that. So they're going to fight this in court. So I would imagine that we'll talk about this way down the road once that trial happens. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with this here. Again, I think that generally the vox populi, like the public at large, is pretty down on all things gambling right now, considering how inundated all of us are when watching a fucking sports event with gambling ads constantly, with ESPN and
Yeah.
other sports networks integrating gambling into their coverage of sports and shit like that. I know I'm pretty fucking fatigued by it. Getting really fucking sick and tired of it, quite frankly. And so it'll be really interesting to see what a jury thinks of this once it gets before them. So more to come later on. Nvidia made some news today because they showed off their new DLSS 5 technology that is coming to 50 series graphics cards
It's
this fall. And boy oh boy, it's been a while since I've seen just a incessant, comprehensive, unrelenting dunking on something by a corner of social media
There
that I have with this.
what
Yeah.
Nvidia is saying that the DLSS 5 does is that they're saying it uses an AI model to alter the visuals with what they're calling photoreal lighting and materials. Now
No,
what
it's
they're
not.
actually doing is just basically slapping a fucking AI slop filter on every character. Or as my buddy Barry Topping put on Blue Sky, they yassified the
Yeah.
lighting. Um I laughed real hard at that. Yeah, it certainly doesn't make anything look any better. It's literally just a fucking AI yassification filter that they're putting in it. And it also like requires way too much like
Power.
processing power
Yeah.
to be remotely realistic in application. Um, you know, everyone's people are saying that the characters look really uncanny and weird, that like it's kind of squeezing like stylistic design out of games by trying to make everything super photorealistic.
Hmm.
um yeah.
Well, and it's funny because one of the things Nvidia said, they went out of their way to be like the artists in the studios will still have like control over how this enhances their characters. But
Yeah.
it's like the examples that they showed off would indicate that perhaps that's not actually the case. Like the
Yeah.
one that everyone is pointing to
Yeah, what the
is
fuck did they do to Grace? Yeah.
right, is
Yeah,
Grace from Resident Evil 9.
they yassified her.
Well, Micah, it's as I heard someone say earlier, it's important when you're going to going to the house where your mother was killed and that you have a lot of deep-seated psychological
You
trauma.
better have a fucking spot on lip gloss,
Right.
eyeliner, like it
Yeah.
better be
Yeah, foundation
there.
and a new fucking nose?
And a
Like,
brand new
what the
fucking
fuck?
nose.
And lips. Don't forget as well. She
Right,
looks like she
She
got
little
a little
little
bit of
little lip
extra,
plumper in there,
a
yeah,
yeah.
little bit of
man,
collagen in there.
like
So
this is like that's not this character
That's
at
not the
all.
lighting.
yeah.
Like, the lighting has no impact on that
Right,
at
right.
all.
Like
They restructured her fucking
they
face.
restructured her face and they ultimately changed
Yeah, she added some dark roots in there as well
Mhm.
with this.
yeah,
So
they changed the actual like persona of the character, right? Like
Yeah.
Grace is not this Grace is like a very like humble, like normal looking person, right? Like
But here's the thing, people can't goon to that, therefore Nvidia is here to
yeah.
make her
Da-
hotter.
Danny O'Dwyer put out a skeet that I think illustrates it best. He said it's weird that this impressive lighting tech also randomly turns everyone into yassified, looks maxed freaks. It's like all this technology can't help itself but to sexualize everything that it touches, but like through the lens of teenage boys.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what this is. This is what people do. This is what people did to that one character from they said she had a beard, Aloy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they did to this is what they do. This is what like juveniles do when
Yeah,
they
this
wanna
is what tiny baby little bitch boys do
come on, bro.
when a woman does not look like an airbrushed supermodel in a
Yo,
fucking Playboy
Leon
spread.
Leon was already okay. Okay. Now
Speak
they
speak
made Leon look like a Giga Chad, like, what the fuck is this?
speaking of tiny little freaks, you know who's a big fan of this? It's Todd Howard. Todd Howard is all about
Yeah, this old boy,
how they put the coat of paint over all the assets in Starfield. He's like, this is great. I love this. This
Is
Yeah,
is
that
I
what
fucking
that was?
spectacular.
not
That's what
playing
that was?
not
Yeah.
playing
Starf
Starfield.
yo, because it looks even more uncanny. Like, cause you know how those games are.
Yeah.
They look you dead in the face and then nothing else moves except for their lips and they barely blink. Like, it just looks like you have a bunch of makeup on. Like, this Hogwarts thing looks like an old face filter was just thrown on it.
That's what it is. I mean,
Like
that's all it fucking is.
this is
Well, so good news for everybody out there. So again, this is going to be exclusive to 50 series cards when it comes out. I would imagine that 90% of you who have PCs probably don't even have a card powerful enough to fuck with this technology, which is good. I can tell you for sure that in my 5070 that I have, I will not be enabling these fucking features. You can rest assured. Even some of the other stuff that they showed off, like some of the environmental stuff, which you would think would actually like benefit from this sort of thing, doesn't really look.
It doesn't it does
Yeah.
I don't see a difference in the environment. It looks like it's only focusing on the characters, and
Mhm.
yeah, because I saw somebody made that comment, and it's like, I don't know, bro. I'm not seeing any different textures. I'm not seeing, like, it the lighting is changing a little bit, but it's just like, "Hey, let's just kinda make it brighter."
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not, yeah, this is not okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely a fucking choice, I'll tell you that. So I would be shocked um if the reaction that this elicited uh does not cause them to maybe tone it down a little bit once we get to the fucking final product of whatever DLSS 5
Mm.
is gonna entail. Like this is so bad that like Digital Foundry um did like a did like a technical analysis of this trailer that Nvidia put out that they released today. And like their analysis was so like non-critical that like people are now accusing like Digital Foundry, who have been like the rock solid, like straight shooting, like it's gonna give it to you, like give you the technical details and tell it like it is, of being like fucking paid shills for Nvidia now because of how they reacted to this tech and really not having a lot of ire for it, which I would assume that they would. But I mean, like they were coming at from the perspective of like, hey, like this is obviously like an impressive technical uh, uh like lift and achievement that they're doing here, but it's just like, bro, that doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean that it's desired
Yeah.
by people. So maybe chill it down a little bit because this does not look good. And again, this is not what gamers in general I feel want.
No.
If the response today was anything to go by.
No.
A whip around the industry. Warner Brothers Montreal is laying off several developers. Of course, the developers of Batman: Arkham Origins and Gotham Knights.
Yeah, this
Um,
is interesting because Warner Brothers Montreal has not confirmed the layoffs yet. This is just coming from a handful of people across a few different disciplines within the company, basically all saying that they're not looking for work. So um basically, Warner Brothers has not had the best time in the games industry as of late. There was just
It's
sort
only
of
it's only gonna get worse.
yeah, general sort of lack of releases, cancellation of a planned expansion to Hogwarts Legacy, a game which no one should play because J.K. Rowling is a transphobe. Layoffs at Rocksteady after Suicide Squad understandably flopped. Wonder Woman game cancellation, multiverses being shut down. So basically, the bad times continue at Warner Brothers as far as their gaming division is concerned. Now,
Well, hang on before you get there. I just want to point out. So, like, almost assuredly, this is cost cutting.
yes,
That's to do with the Paramount acquisition that's
yep.
currently going through. An acquisition, by the way, that we found out today that David Zaslav, the current CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, will walk away with just a shade under $800 million personally, as
Yeah,
part of this arrangement.
yeah.
Mhm.
He fucking he just flipped a business like people flip houses.
Yeah, like I
And
said, bought Warner Brothers, ran it incredibly poorly, and then is going to flip it for a shitload of money. That the president's goons are basically like the wheels are being greased for all the president's friends.
yeah, they're mask
And
off about it too. They're mask
yeah,
off.
oh yeah,
That
Mhm.
drunkard was like, I can't wait for Paramount to buy it so we can get some real headlines
yeah, from
in the
CNN.
news. Like, what the fuck? All
Mhm.
right, bro. All right.
God, like just like imagining that like fucking good press is worth $109 billion. Like,
God
okay,
damn.
all right, makes makes sense. But again, when you have that much money, like what the fuck is that even? Honestly, at the end of the day. So yeah, but it's just really cool that David Zaslav can, just like every fucking mediocre white guy, fail his way up to greater and greater heights. You'll love to see it. So
Meanwhile, Warner Brothers just had the best Oscars night it's had in decades,
Yeah.
with 2 of their movies winning 10 Academy Awards, all of the big ones. And but yeah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, all right.
yeah. Like I said, but the only thing that I'm happy about that deal taking place is that it seems like that everyone who ends up with Warner Brothers somehow runs into financial turmoil because Warner Brothers is apparently a fucking albatross around the neck of anyone who buys it. So I hope to God that happens for Paramount. So, but good news.
Yeah, good news. Atlas, um, Atlas is going the opposite direction. Now, Atlas, of course, the developer and publisher of Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, Metaphor ReFantazio, that whole uh, family of games. Their latest press release said that they are trying to foster the creativity and improve the productivity of all of their employees, and in so doing, will be raising the base salary of new graduates coming into their company to 330,000 yen, which is about a little more. It's close to about $2,100 a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but keeping in mind that in Japan, that is considered a slightly above average monthly salary for a new
Really?
graduate. Yeah. And meanwhile, other full-time and contract employees will be getting a 15% raise, and they are reducing overtime hours from 30 down to 20, which is a pretty substantial reduction. Basically saying that they will continue to support our employees in maintaining stable lives and to create an environment where they can work with greater peace of mind. Changes will be applied starting next month. So yeah, while Western developers are laying people off and trying everything that they possibly can to ensure that number continues to go up, Japanese developers like Atlas are basically doubling down on staff retention in spite of the fact that the global economy kind of stinks right now. They want to do everything that they can to ensure that their employees are comfortable, well taken care of, and can do the best job possible. And when you're putting out games like Persona 5, Persona 3 Reload, and Metaphor ReFantazio, uh, it's pretty clear that, I feel like the results kind of speak for themselves.
So hang on a second. So what you mean to tell me
Mhm,
is that when you put out critically acclaimed and high selling games
mhm.
that perform well in the marketplace, the correct business tact is to give your employees raises
Yeah,
and not to fire them?
exactly. Shocking, I know.
Weird.
So, yeah, it's just a little bit of good news. I have been a longtime supporter of Atlas. There are certainly some things that they don't always get right, such as the representation of the LGBTQ community in some of their games. That being said, it is nice to see a company basically say like, "Hey, we're doing everything we can to do right by our employees because we believe that that's the best way that we can have the best possible games." And it would be nice if the rest of the world paid attention.
Well, like I said, Japanese developers seem to be the only ones doing that right now. They can just get their developer salaries up to be a little bit more equitable with the rest of the industry. That would also be probably a good thing.
Now, keeping in mind that the 330,000 yen, that is just the starting salary for like a kid fresh out of college who is just
I know, but my understanding is generally developers in Japan are paid less than their
I believe that
counterparts
is true,
around the globe.
yeah.
I'm assuming the cost of living in Japan might be a little bit lower, so that kind of helps a little bit.
I believe it is significantly lower than it is
Yeah.
in the United States.
So
Also, the yen is really weak right now. So
that's not a good thing. If they're gonna get
not
paid good salaries.
no, currently like $1 is like 160 yen.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
yeah. So if you're planning a trip to Japan, now is
yeah,
the
I
good time to do it.
always thought the easy math was 1 yen is 1 cent, 1 American cent.
I mean,
But,
in the best of times, I suppose.
Yeah.
That does usually work out that way.
Yeah.
So also, I think it's important because we slag off a lot of companies for a variety of reasons, especially around AI. So I think it's important that we also acknowledge when those companies do good things around AI, and by that I mean stop using it as much. So Embark Studios, who was the developer of Arc Raiders, made quite a stink when that game came out last year because they said like, yeah, like we brought in voice actors and we had them record some lines, and also like in order to work on the game they had to sign a contract that said that we could use their voice and train an AI with it because we're going to add more voice lines to the game later, and we don't want to have to bring them back in to re-record dialogue. And people like said, like when the game came out, players like, yeah, you can fucking tell because
Yeah.
it's very clear the lines that are AI recorded and the lines that aren't. But Arc Raiders appears to be taking a bit of a different tact, at least as it pertains to voice work.
Yeah, because they're realizing that the AI voice acting fucking sucks.
Yeah, it stinks.
Their
So
CEO,
yeah,
Patrick
Patrick
Soderlund.
Soderlund, he talked to gamesindustry.biz. And they said that they've actually re-recorded some of the lines with the voice actors in the studio post-launch. Quote, we pay our actors for all time spent with us in the booth and continue to bring many of them back as we carry on updating the game. For select usage, we also pay them for the approval to license their voices through text-to-speech for lines that aren't as essential to the immersion of the experience. We re-recorded some of the lines post-launch and made them with real voices. There is a quality difference. A real professional actor is better than AI. That's just how it is. We look at AI first and foremost as a production tool. We can test things internally. We can test 15 different lines without recording them, and then we know what to record. It's also a way for us to work, not replace actors. We don't necessarily believe in replacing humans with AI all the time.
It would be nice if they didn't replace humans with AI
Ever.
at
Yeah,
all.
you could
Ever.
have left out those last 3 words.
Well, so I find the timing of this interesting because one of the other things that Arc or that Marathon has is quite a lot of recorded dialogue from some very notable video game voice actors, which you may say like, hey, like it's just an extraction shooter. Why do you need Ben Starr to be Durandal, the evil AI that runs through the Marathon series? And because you want it to fucking sound good, man. Like, that's
Right.
why you're gonna pay Ben Starr to be fucking Durandal. And a lot of the other like notable actors, like the up and comers, like your Jennifer Englishes and Alex, the guy that played Adam Jensen, whose name like Alex Tafoyas, I can't remember his last name ever. Sorry, Elias Tafoyas, I can't remember his name, but he's in the game. And the guy that was Asterion, Neil Newborn, is in the game as well, and all sorts of other prolific voice actors. So and again, it shows because the voice work in that game, the different AIs that you talk to for the different corporations, they're doing good work. Like the voice lines in the recorded codexes that have like the audio codexes, they're doing good work. Certainly better than an AI can fucking put out. I can tell you that much. So, like I said, I just find the timing interesting in the wake of Marathon's release here.
Yeah.
So, not going to complain about it though. Finally,
this is the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah.
That
So,
today.
so we talked several months ago about how Krafton, on the legal advice of ChatGPT, decided that actually it would be a really good idea to fire the founders of the Unknown World studio, who were currently developing Subnautica 2, to probably avoid paying them a $250 million bonus that they would be due once Subnautica 2 released, if they hit certain early access targets. And oh, by the way, we're going to push back that release as much as we fucking can because we don't think the game is ready. Because again, we don't want to have to pay this $250 million bonus.
So basically, like, what had happened with this was Subnautica developer Unknown Worlds had their CEO Ted Gill fired by the publisher Krafton, and basically, so Krafton acquired Unknown Worlds in 2021 for a $500 million equity payout. And then there was also going to be a $250 million additional earnout bonus for the co-founders of Unknown Worlds if certain sales goals were met. And then Krafton was like, we're never going to fucking hit these goals. This is such a small publisher. And then here comes Subnautica 2, and the hype builds and the pre-orders for Subnautica 2 seem to indicate that there was going to be a significant payout that Krafton was going to have to pay the Unknown Worlds founders. And then the thing is, you know, the folks at Krafton were like, we don't really want to pay this bonus. And Krafton's legal team was like, hey, you really shouldn't fire these dudes because they're going to sue us and we're going to lose. And then the Krafton CEO was like, what if I come up with a fucking
instead of the very expensive
plan,
lawyers that I have on retainer to advise me,
ignore the legal team and I'm going to talk to ChatGPT. And they came up with an enormously dumb, very illegal plan, which he followed to the T and then lost spectacularly in court. So now the fucking Subnautica dude has got his job back. And there's going to be, you know, there's still a big question as to like when / if Subnautica 2 will release, what the fucking earnout threshold is going to be for this. There's still a lot of litigation pending regarding to damages from the firings and all of this other stuff. But yeah. Imagine being told by your legal team, like, hey, don't do this. And being like, what if I fucking did it anyway? Like,
I mean, I can't even imagine having the thought of like, I'm a leader and I'm supposed to be able to make my own decisions, right? Like, but I can't because I suck at my job. So I gotta ask Chat GPT, like not even a good AI, like Chat GPT, bro.
look, here's the thing. The fucking dude, what's his name? The CEO of Krafton,
Shanghan Kim is his name.
Kim went to ChatGPT, and at ChatGPT's suggestion, he formed an internal task force that he called Project X, where the mandate was to either negotiate a deal on the earnout or execute a takeover of Unknown Worlds. Looking to buy time, Kim sought ChatGPT's counsel on how to proceed if Krafton failed to reach a deal with Unknown Worlds on the earnout. The AI chatbot prepared a response strategy saying, basically securing control points, lock down Steam/console publishing rights and access rights over code/build pipeline for the earnout freeze, keep room for negotiations through provision stating immediate removal if specific development results are achieved, so on and so forth. And basically, Kim followed ChatGPT's advice rather than what his lawyers were telling him. First, posting a message on the Subnautica website to try and get fans onto his side. Which was also written by ChatGPT,
Of course.
by the way.
Of course.
Fans thought the message was really weird, did not have the goal of getting fans onto his side, had the complete opposite impact. But yeah, Kim's a fucking moron. And
Well, so to be clear, he was an idiot for the. So I wasn't aware. Like part of the other thing that this court ruling has borne out is the terms of the deal that they signed in the first place. So they acquired Unknown Worlds for $500 million,
Mhm.
and then the deal that they made was, okay, by the end of 2025, here's how this is going to work. We expect you to make $69.8 million in revenue by the end of 2025. Once you hit that threshold, for every dollar of revenue that you make beyond that, we will pay you $3.12, up to 250, up to the $250 million cap, and then after that, obviously, like the rest, there would be no additional thing. But it's just like, bro, like, why did you sign that deal in the first place? Like
Right.
that sounds like a terrible fucking deal. Like what the fuck is wrong with you, you idiot? Like you're gonna pay $3 on the dollar for like, eclipsing $70 million in sales, which with as popular as Subnautica is, they could do like in their sleep without even having to fucking try. And that's ultimately why this happened, is because he's like, oh, like, I really fucked myself here. It's like, yeah, you did, bro. Like that was your own stupid fault, but you certainly did fuck yourself.
Mhm.
And so he's like, well, now I got to rig my way out of it. But it's like, what did you fucking expect was going to happen? Like they were just be like, oh, cool, like you got us, you outmaneuvered us. We're just gonna walk off in the sunset. Like, fuck you, no. Like I'm gonna fucking sue your ass, man. Like I'm not gonna walk away from $250 million that I think should rightfully be mine. Like, get the fuck out of here. God, like every story that I read about the CEO of every like gaming or like tech company, it just boggled. Like I saw an interview. You guys know who Mark Andreessen is?
Yes.
Okay. So like he did an interview that came out today. And the interviewer asked him about like introspection and like how often do you like, or how often are you introspective? And he's like, never. He's like, because like introspection is like a new thing. Like introspection didn't really exist until like the 1700s. He's like, all of these great men of history never thought about like the impacts that their actions would have. Like they just did it. Like they just fucking did it. He's like, so
It's
like,
quite
no,
literally the opposite.
I've never been introspective ever. And I'm just like, well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, that explains a whole hell of a lot. Like that is literally the opposite of everything you just said is 100% false. You dumb conehead. Jesus Christ.
He is the most cone-headed motherfucker that I've ever seen in my entire life.
God damn.
You are 100% correct. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Oh man.
Well, that's it for the news. Let's move in to the post office, where you can, if you're in our Discord, densepixels.com/fans, you can ask us questions. We will be forced to answer them on the show. We cannot get away from it. It's impossible. Just like Muck says a couple episodes ago, Brad mentioned that part of the reason he prefers Marathon over Arc Raiders is the aesthetic, describing Arcs as bland and washed out. I have the opposite problem, and I just can't jive with Marathon's color palette and sound design like I do with Arc. My question is, do any of you have any games that you can't or won't play simply for aesthetic reasons? Are there any game series that you had to break away from because their graphical or character design changed for the worse.
Oh man, where do I begin?
Truthfully, I think the aesthetic of Clair Obscur
Mhm.
is part of the reason why I haven't played it yet.
Interesting.
I just like
Too French, huh?
it's a little too French. Yeah, it's
Carrie is like self-described francophobe. You heard it here on
yeah,
this
totally.
podcast first.
No, I
The
think
polar
it's
opposite of
more
Micah.
like the sort of more photorealistic kind of character designs just
Mhm.
don't really land for me. Um they it's not something I can the way that everyone just looks like perpetually dirty in that game, like
Mhm.
I just it doesn't land for me. So
I mean, there's only one character that weirds me out, and that's the woman that doesn't wear shoes, and her feet are like I don't wear shoes. Wear shoes. I wear shoes every.
She can float. She doesn't need to
I
wear
don't care.
shoes.
I don't care. I'm wearing shoes everywhere. I just bought some water shoes 'cause I'm getting ready to go to the beach, and I don't wanna walk around with my feet in the sand. No, wear shoes. Nobody wants to see the soles of your feet.
that's how you get plantar warts. It's walking around barefoot.
I'm not a fan of, I think pixel art is very overrated. I think pixel art is incredibly overrated, and I don't necessarily find it charming. The one reason that I have not played Vampire Survivors is because
Mhm.
of the way it looks.
I think that's an example of pixel art done well because
Mhm.
it's simple on purpose.
Mm.
Like so like that's why I kind of like that because I agree with you. I think that it could definitely be done very badly as well. Yeah, there's not a lot I can think of here. Like I said, even if it's not a style that I personally ascribe to, like I appreciate when a game does have like a distinct look because I think it looks because it at least looks interesting. Even if that is not something that I would like put up on my wall,
Yeah.
for example. Um, so yeah, I'm struggling to think of anything specific or any game that I've like balked at specifically because um of its art style. Um
I almost didn't play ball pit.
yeah,
I almost didn't, but I saw the way it looked. I was like, nope. And
and see
and
you're glad you
I
did.
I am. So
I
I'm a
actually
master
I
fan.
will tell you this. There's a lot of reasons that I don't particularly care for this game, even though it's very popular and a lot of people who like a lot of the games that I like it a lot. But the art style is definitely one of them. Monster Train, I think, looks like dog shit to me. Like that. That's one that I just like. It looks very early PS3 DLs like downloadable games era parentheses derogatory. It's just not.
Yeah, it looks like it's got like the art style of like one of those games that it cut to commercial
Mhm,
and
mhm.
you gotta like look at the little person like shooting a wave of things like, no, this is a real game. Trust me, guys. This is a real game. Like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole presentation of Monster Train, I'm not a huge fan of, and certainly the art style is not the aesthetic of the game certainly is how that also goes into like the sound effects and some of the other ways that the game is presented as well. So um Cam asks, reportedly, there will be a Lego PS1 set released later this year and will be full scale, like the already released Game Boy. Is it stolen valor if I get this, even though I was an N64 kid and didn't play PS1 games until I got a PS2? It's only stolen valor if I cannot get my hands on one, and you do. If that's the case, Cam, if you see me go on Blue Sky and say that like, oh man, I missed out or like I couldn't get my hands on this, I think you are then legally obligated to send me your Lego PS1 if you get one. Much as like because I was not an N64 guy, if they ever come out with an N64 Lego, I will send you that one. So uh there's no way I'm not getting that PS1 whenever it drops. That is 1000% happening.
I appreciate it, but Lego is the pixel art of real life. And I, as much as I have all these toys and stuff, I just for some reason I am very impressed with Lego, but yeah, and we go to the mall, and my son usually asks for a Lego set. So we go into the Lego store. I get it. I appreciate it. I understand it. It is a style. It's just not for me. And those Lego sets are incredibly expensive.
Yeah, they
Yes,
can
they
get
are.
hella
Um,
expensive.
and we get the cheap ones, and then I just got him one. It was a little helicopter. It didn't take too long. It was only 180 pieces, and we put it together. And 2 hours later, he dropped it. It's like, all right, yo, like this is why I don't like this shit, man.
I was pretty into Lego as a kid. I think somewhere at my parents' house there's still all of my old Legos.
And see, I'm as an adult, I'm living the Lego childhood that I never got to have because I was a Connects kid.
Oh
When I
Yeah,
was
I
a
had
boy.
kid.
connects.
I loved
Yeah, no, I
Connects.
was I was there was like a set of Lego that was kind of Indiana Jones inspired. Um yeah, I forget because here's the thing: set in the years since they have done an official Lego Indiana Jones, so I no longer remember what this fucking character, what his name was, but he was like the Lego version of Indiana Jones. So
Yeah.
I had a few of those sets, and that was cool. I had one of like the like aquatic sets that they had. And keeping in mind this is like mid late 90s. I'm sure there's a listener who will be like, it was this set and this set, but like I don't remember. And then I was pretty into the Bionicle stuff when that was first rolling out.
Yeah.
Um and
I
as an adult, I buy Lego on a very rare occasion. Like if there's a set that I just have to have, like they did Shadow the Hedgehog on his motorcycle. So I did that. I bought that. And I might get the Eevee in the new
mhm,
Pokemon sets because like that's affordable. It's like $60 instead of
yeah.
300 for the fucking Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. And then the some of the Zelda sets that they've been coming out with are pretty dope. Um, so
I almost bought the Enterprise, but I don't like Star Trek quite enough
okay.
to get that.
I
But
like
yeah.
the process of like snapping shit together. It's a big
Yeah.
reason why I really like model kits too.
Yeah.
I have to constantly prevent myself from buying Gundam kits because I just want to build all of them. So yeah.
Cam also so Cam posted a Instagram post that Alan Richson, the actor, made where he's basically teasing what if I was involved with a Metal Gear project of some kind. And Cam says this big bastard is dropping Solid Snake references. So how do we feel about a guy as big as a house playing a character known for stealth? In my opinion, he's better than fucking Norman Reedus somehow getting that role. Um, yeah, I like Alan Richardson fine. Like I think he's a very good actor. I think that he was a great choice for Jack Reacher. Certainly a better choice than Tom Cruise.
Tom
If you
fucking
know anything
Cruise is
about
a
that
whole
fucking character,
right, is a whole foot shorter than Alan Richardson.
right? And like if you want to cast like well, actually that would be cultural misappropriation to cast him as like a Vulcan Raven. But like if you wanted to cast him in a role as like a big fucking dude in the Metal Gear franchise, like I wouldn't have a problem with it. It would be weird seeing like a fucking 6'5", 280-pound dude as Solid Snake. That would be strange. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't imagine, so this guy is like 6'3". That's what he's billed at.
Mhm.
Um, I gotta imagine Snake is like just under 6 feet. And Snake's gotta fit in a cardboard box, guys.
That's true.
Like, I don't think Alan Richson could fit in a cardboard box. Plus, he's only doing this because that new movie he has out,
Mhm.
which is not good. But I watched it anyway because I'm dumb. Is He's fighting a Metal Gear, guys.
Mhm.
He's fighting a walking tank that is killing people. That turns out to be an alien. Spoiler alert.
Stephen King read this?
Well, it gets dispatched in a stupid way, so maybe he did. I don't know.
Did it take place in Maine, in like some obscure town?
It took place in like an obscure area. I can't remember exactly where, but I don't think he wrote this. This is too stupid even for Stephen. Jesus Christ.
Phil Wander asked, "Does McLaren need to sell its soul to buy a break with their disastrous 2 races so far in F1?" Yeah, McLaren had a double, did not start this weekend because of electrical
Yikes.
problems with their car. So that was unfortunate. This one's for Carrie. What's a GBA game that you currently don't have in your collection that you'd be willing to spend over $200 on?
Here's the thing. I own in my collection of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games multiple games that I could sell for more than $200. I have, I have Pokemon Emerald complete in box. That's like a $650 game. I have Pokemon Fire Red complete in box. That's like a $400 game. I have um Fire Emblem and Fire Emblem Sacred Stones complete in box. Those are like $200 each. I have the Harvest Moon Game Boy Advance games, which I found out while just looking it up just now. Those are about $100 each. Um, I have many games that are worth a lot of money in my collection, and I feel like there's virtually nothing on the list of games, Game Boy Advance games that are worth a lot that are not Pokemon that I would actually play. That being said, there is essentially one title and it doesn't break the $200 mark. It's basically about $125 to get these games, but it's the Demi Kids games for Game Boy Advance. Now, these are Shin Megami Tensei spin-offs. They're sort of lighter versions of um mainline SMT games. They're Shin Megami Tensei for children, basically. So, the games that were brought over to the United States were Shin Megami Tensei or Demi Kids Light Book and Dark Book, or Light and Dark version. And they basically tried to Pokemon Shin Megami Tensei for a little bit
I'm gonna
there.
say it's what it sounds
Um,
like.
yeah. So they did that for a few years in the early 2000s. Now those games, the Light and Dark Book, those are basically maybe $125 each. Um, that would probably be like the only games where I would spend that amount of money to own them, because of the fact that like I just like Shin Megami Tensei. Also apparently like the Game Boy Advance version of River City Ransom is like $100, $150 now, complete in box. I always saved all my boxes. That's been my saving grace as far as like my gaming collection as an adult, is I have all of my boxes. I never got rid of the cardboard boxes for Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games. I was kind of allowed to be a bit of a hoarder, largely because my father is such a sports memorabilia guy for such a long time. So he didn't mind me saving all of that stuff. Maybe he saw the potential value years down the road. But yeah, I mean, there's very few Game Boy Advance titles that really even cross the $200 mark that aren't like Fire Emblem or Pokemon. There's a handful of weird ones like Sega Rally Racing and Ninja 5 and stuff like that, but like I'm not gonna play those games, so I wouldn't seek those out.
Mhm. It like the price increases of used games, especially from like the GBA and up
Mhm.
era, always astonishes me because like these are things that were like mass produced
Mhm.
in like huge quantities.
Yeah, but you do have to understand at this point it's been, let's say, 25 years since a lot of these games came out. When you have a cartridge that's only yay
yeah,
big,
a lot of
a lot
people
of
lose
those
them
got
or
went through the wash or were thrown out or something like that. So,
yep,
even if something was produced, in the millions, how many of those actually survived and are playable and working today?
yep,
So,
that's true. That is very
um
true.
yeah,
But still,
there's a couple other, like, DS games that I wanna grab at some point. The Digimon World DS games, which are ones that, like, I owned and then, like, traded in at some point like a fool. Um, Those, I mean, the complete inbox prices are like 100 to 150 on those. I
I
could get those. I could get those
I
used for about
blame
35.
I
So
blame the existence of GameStop. That they encourage so much trading that all these things that we could all have if we didn't have the option to
I
unload
honestly
them.
blame the grading companies
Yeah,
and
I know. I was
the
being a little.
bubble
I was
of
being funny.
all of that bullshit with WADA and Heritage and the whole racketeering bullshit and falsely creating a fucking bubble for video game collecting of graded games. I blame that more so than anything
Yeah.
else, because that created this kind of run on the collector's market where stuff that had been $20 at a fucking, collectible show, 5 years before were suddenly like $200 or some shit like that. So,
Yeah.
however, prices are starting to really come back down because people realize that WADA and Heritage are full of shit. And now those guys basically get laughed out of every convention, which is a delight to see.
Very cool. Johnny with 2 questions. Number 1, is Leon S. Kennedy just gooner bait?
I mean, he's hot, I guess. They rendered him fucking.
I mean, after that Nvidia thing,
They render, I mean, assuming we're talking about what he looks like in Requiem, it's just like, yeah, they made him fucking daddy, right? Like that's the point.
Yeah.
So
But like
yeah, I guess
he's
He's
also
only
like a
50.
dumb himbo, right? So like
he
I don't
yeah.
know if that helps or hurts his helps the attraction there.
eh.
So but also a question that I actually anticipated that we would get after seeing the social media post. Michael B. Jordan celebrated his Oscar win by going to In-N-Out. If you won a major award or another, I don't know, where would your dining place of choice be?
Like a fast food place?
It could be wherever you want.
If it's
First of all, I
fast
just
food
want to
place.
say that In-N-Out is okay, and that Habit is a better burger if you're in California.
Thank you. I went to an In-N-Out once, and I'm like, "Is
It's
this it? It's
fine.
fine.
It's fine.
It's
But you know
fine."
what?
It's
Sometimes
because you don't have normal access to it. That's the only reason why. It's like the same thing when fucking Sonic first appeared in Maryland, and
oh
all we
yeah,
had heard
people went
was the
ape
stories
shit.
of how amazing fucking Sonic was, and then we had Sonic for the first time. We're like, oh, it's okay,
Their
it's all
milkshakes are
right,
good. Like if
right?
I'm going to Sonic, I'm going to Sonic for a slush or a milkshake. I'm not going for their fucking chicken nuggies. Um, but In-N-Out, first of all, for as many of them as there are out here, the line is always out to the fucking street, and I'm never gonna
That's what I'm
wait that
saying.
long for a burger that I think is only okay.
That's what I'm saying, yo. Like it was when I went, they were like, "You gotta go to In-N-Out. You gotta go to In-N-Out." And I waited
It's
there
fine.
for this smashed up ass burger, and it was just animal style, or whatever the fuck they do over there. And I honestly was not impressed. Um,
Yeah.
and that's coming from a guy who lives on the East Coast. We got shitty fast food places around here on the East Coast.
Here,
Every
I will
the
take a
Mid
Five
Atlantic.
Guys. I'll take Five Guys over In-N-Out
I
every
will
day of the
take
week.
Five Guys over In-N-Out. I wish we had. I would go to a Culver's.
I fucking love Culver's.
We
Holy
don't have
shit, do I
Culver's out
like
here. That's like a
Culver's?
Midwest thing, right?
It is, yeah, it's
It
so good
is,
though.
but they have them in Florida, and
Oh shit.
when we go to visit her family, I always go to Culver's because Culver's is fucking dope. So yeah, that's where I would go. In-N-Out.
Yeah.
I probably would just go to a Five Guys, honestly. Like that sounds about right. They don't do the peanuts anymore. I heard though.
What?
I don't think they do,
Well,
or
that's the point.
maybe I'm confusing that. I heard somebody doesn't do the peanuts anymore. It might be Texas Roadhouse.
Oh.
I don't know, Brad. Costs going up, man.
That's true. Plus you got watch for the allergies.
If we're choosing like a fast food place, I'm probably gonna go to a Taco Bell. If we're doing something slightly nicer than that, there's a Korean barbecue place in Concord that I really like. So I would go there and get all fucked up on meats and soju.
Trying to think, like, yeah, it would be Five Guys. Like I said, Five Guys, I think is my like de facto like. I like this fast food place the most. It's also like ungodly expensive now, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's my only thing, man. Like, it's a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Mark asks, if you could move to any country outside the US, where are you going And what is the draw? We already know Micah's answer to this question.
I'm moving to Lyon, France.
Yep.
Lyon specifically because like Paris is like you got to be a millionaire to live the way I want to live. And Lyon is, I mean, the food there is one, it's in the south, it's in the southern part of France, so winter is like damn near non-existent. Um, if I want to go to Paris, it's like 2, 3 hour train ride. So you can make it a day trip. And the food there is like it's the what do they call it? The gastronomical or gastronomic I'm probably using the wrong word. Um, Capital of France. Um, so yeah, that Lyon specifically is where I would go.
So this is a tough question for you to answer because I've never traveled outside of the US. So I have no context for actually one of these places are like. So being as that is the case, I would probably just move up to Canada somewhere where I would get universal healthcare, which fucking rips, and be surrounded by other people who also love hockey, which is a few and far between experience currently living in the US.
Even though you look like him, I don't think you would be cool with Montreal just because
No, no.
I really enjoyed my time in Montreal.
I
But
just wouldn't. I just would not. I would refuse to learn French, and you can't live in Montreal if you refuse to learn French. It just wouldn't work.
yeah, because
Honestly,
they have that snooty ass like uppity air that like French people have, but I kind of like it.
so my whole thing is that like if I ever left Maryland for any reason, ideally where I'd like to go, move to because I think it like the vibes are pretty cool. Are is the Pacific Northwest. So like I could live outside Vancouver probably. Like that's something that seems reasonable to want
Yeah.
to do. If I had to pick a European country, Germany seems really cool most of the time, honestly. But it's very hard. Like it's apparently very hard to emigrate to Germany if you have no familial connection
Mm.
to there. So that would be neat. Everything I've ever seen about Germany, post 1945,
Okay.
is pretty. Actually, no, post 1991 because we did have
Yeah,
a pretty firm division there.
there was that wall that
Right.
yeah.
It's the Germany seems like it's gotten better for sure. So
Um, I thought maybe like one of the Nordic countries that has
Ooh,
universal healthcare. But it's also my understanding that those countries tend to be chilly. So I would probably end up
just a tad.
going to like Australia or New Zealand, which also has universal healthcare. At least New Zealand does. Um, so yeah, I'm probably like New Zealand. New Zealand seems like a really pleasant place to be. Just minimal crime, minimal violent crime, public, universal healthcare. But yeah, probably New Zealand.
You know what kind of hurt my soul?
Yeah.
Um Talking to my son and and he said we were talking about Africa and he said something to the effect that it was one of the most ignorant ass comments that I've ever heard. And he's 7, but he was like, something about like, well, how do they do this? Because like they don't have roads because they're, it's just all jungles and animals. And I was like, oh my God, I'm failing him. And then we watched a video of a bunch of cities in Africa. I'm like, look, man, no, like Africa is just like everywhere else, man. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to take him to the continent and we'll probably go to like I would like to see
Yeah,
Lagos
I'm about
or
to say
something.
Nigeria would probably be the best
Yeah.
place to
Although I
take him.
although I kind of want to go to Morocco, but like, you know, I feel like my blackness is telling me like I gotta go to sub-Saharan Africa before I go to Northern Africa.
don't know. A friend of mine has been several times because she married a Moroccan man, so she says it's
Yeah, I
very good,
want
but she's not black, so like so I don't know if that factors into the decision at all.
like I really want to go to Morocco, but yeah, no, I got to take him to sub-Saharan Africa, maybe Lagos or something like that first because I felt so I was oh no, we rectifying this shit right now. You're not gonna go around. You're not gonna go to school talking about all they got is giraffes and lions in Africa. You better get out of here, boy. What the hell?
Oh my goodness. And then finally, Micah, you're gonna have to help me out with this one because I don't know what Mad Coco G is referring to here. So the Insomniac leaks really screwed over the Spidey 2 team because there really hasn't been anything else for a top seller and Marvel's arguably number one character. I guess he's referring to the fact there really hasn't been Spidey 2 DLC. That's
Yeah,
coming.
that's true. They didn't really do anything for it.
So I think the leaks kind of gave away bits of the story. I can't remember what the leaks were, but Spider-Man 2 was not as good as Spider-Man 1.
No.
Um
I kind of lost interest around like 2/3 the way through,
it
to be
it's
honest.
it was and as much as, as much as I was like in it at the moment, like looking back on it, I enjoy Spider-Man 1 way more than Spider-Man 2. I think the story is better, it's told better, it's paced better. It Spider-Man 2 has a lot of bloat and
Yeah.
it is unfocused. Like they made a big deal about Venom being in it. Venom comes in the third act of the game, and it is not. It's like they learned every wrong lesson from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, and it just it
Yeah.
and it really didn't didn't work, and and it's a shame because like at one point like Mary Jane gets infected by the symbiote and she
Yeah.
turns into Scream, and I was like, yo, this is a lot going on in this game. So if they are going to do another one, which they
Presumably they will because it sold well, you
yeah, it
know.
sold well and it reviewed fine,
It
but
reviewed really well too. It reviewed at like 8s and 9s out of 10.
you got to come up with something a little more than a different traversal mechanic. A traversal mechanic that kind of defeats the purpose of being Spider-Man. Like I
Mhm.
want a web swing. I don't want to fucking sugar glide,
No,
right?
I don't want that.
Right.
The
I
web
want to
swinging was so satisfying in the first game, and now they're like, "What if he just didn't do that?
yeah, what if he just kind
What
of
if he did
glides
something
on the
else?"
wind? Like, nah, man, like I want a web swing. And so I'm afraid they're gonna have to have I don't know what else they could do gameplay wise, which is which
I need
was
less collectibles, I need less side shit to do, I want a focused, good Spider-Man story, and unfortunately, in my opinion, Spider-Man 2 did not have a good, focused Spider-Man
right.
story.
Look, the end of the first Spider-Man, I teared up,
It
man.
was so
It
good!
was incredible. It was one of the better actual Spider-Man stories. And then 2 just was like, "Hey, let's just kinda throw everything in here."
Mhm.
Do you think some of that has to do with the fact that like the dual character part of it like made it harder to focus on telling a really targeted story?
Maybe a little bit, but, like, I feel like you probably could have done, like you could have done, like, a dual protagonist story with Miles and Peter without having Kraven and Sandman and Venom and whoever the fuck else. Like, it was too much. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I definitely I haven't played the game in, like, 2 years at this point. The game came out in 2023.
Mhm.
The only reason I fire that game up is when I'm taking pictures of my Spider-Man toys and I need a
You need
background.
a good backdrop.
That's it, man.
That's
Like
fair though.
I'll get a really cool looking like backdrop and just take the photo and then use that as my digital background. But yeah, they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. They leave some stuff open right? Like
Mhm.
the like you're gonna do a trilogy. You gotta have Spider-Man fighting the Green Goblin, right?
Yeah.
And but they also tease Carnage, and it just it's a
Can
lot.
we have some quality mainstream Spider-Man media outside of the comic books that do not get weighed down with villain bloat? Because this happens in the fucking movies, this is happening in the video games, and it's not necessary. It's like, the writers are given the keys to the kingdom and they're just like, how many different cakes can I eat right now? And it's like, you need something a little more
Funny,
focused than that.
funny how Batman never seems to have this problem in any Batman media because they're pretty good at focusing on, you
They're
know,
just like, "Do you want the Joker again? Because 'Cause we'll
no,
give it to
they
you.
they do other things.
They do
Do
they
you
do
want the
other
Joker or
things,
Ra's al Ghul again?"
but the thing with Batman is that Batman has a bunch of gangsters as his like
Mhm.
real world gangsters as his
It's people
villains.
without
So,
superpowers,
yeah,
is
so they're
basically,
not
yeah.
fucking like they're not giant sand monsters.
Yeah,
And and alien symbiotes and all it's not it's fantastical, but it's not that fantastical.
yeah.
Like I believe all these people live in this world. Whereas like maybe we should probably do something about that giant sand monster over there.
You know what I think it is? I think that, and I think this is true in both movies and games. I think that the success of the Marvel cinematic universe and all that that entails and everything around that has been kind of a blessing and a curse
Oh,
because now, like,
definitely.
when you go to make a Marvel property, it's like we must provide so much fan service for all these people that are really coming to this expecting to see X, Y, and Z. And I think that's why you get some of that bloat. I also think the other problem is that most Marvel villains aren't interesting enough to carry an entire story by themselves.
Look, not a long one.
Yeah.
Not a long one. And look, I people get on me for saying this. I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, yo.
Yeah.
Like I'm really not. Um like yeah, like Mysterio was in that game. Remember
Yeah. Yep,
like
he sure was. What a waste of a fucking villain. Mysterio's my
right.
favorite Spider-Man villain.
But I'm saying like that, like he was relegated to side content
Completely
because they
unnecessary.
shot their load
Yeah.
on the like hallucination aspect with the
Mhm.
Scorpion in the first game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, Scorpion and Rhino and like the entire Sinister Six were in that first game. So except
Too
for
much.
Craven. So yeah,
Too
mm,
much.
I haven't even thought about a Spider-Man 3 until this question was brought up. And
how how excited are you for Wolverine?
I'm excited for it, but like I like Wolverine, but like people like they're gagging for it, right? Like, and I'm not gagging for it.
God, we are never gonna get away from that fucking phrase. Uh
Especially because he was supposed to be Wolverine, right? Like, so
that's true. That's
right.
yes. That's a good
so
point.
so I will, that game is like my type of game for where I'm at in my life right now. Like a video game that's just a big ass movie, like a big ass interactive movie. But I'm not exactly like, I'll play it when it comes out, but I'm not counting down the days.
Are you more excited for Wolverine or are you more excited for Arcane's Blade? Or more intrigued, I should say.
I'm more intrigued by Blade,
Okay.
because Wolverine, I pretty much know what I'm gonna get. And it's gonna be like every other Wolverine. The best Wolverine game I remember playing was the Wolverine tie-in video game, movie tie-in game. And that's just because it was a Wolverine game and they realized, oh hey, we got a movie coming out. Maybe we can kind of synergize this, right? Um,
One of
and
the
I'm
few
expecting it to
one of the
I'm
rare
expect
occasions where the tie-in game was better than the movie that was tied
right,
to it.
exactly, exactly. And I'm expecting this to be like a big budget version of that.
Hmm.
Whereas Blade, I don't know what to expect, but but I'm very, very curious as to what to do, because you say Blade, and I'm like, oh, but you say Arcane, and I'm like, I don't know, because I haven't really enjoyed a lot of their games.
Well, and because like their games are all like immersive sims, and like if
Yeah.
you're not into that style of game, then you know I
Yeah.
can imagine. But like, how do you do that with Blade? We'll see. I don't know if they are like they might just be making a straight up action game for all we know.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of details have come out yet about it. So we will see what happens there. But thank you guys very much for your questions. Good stock of questions this week as per usual. That's gonna do it for the show this week. Again, look out for a marathon stream on Twitch from me. You can follow me there at Skating Hotspur, and if you miss it or prefer to just check it when you want to, it'll get posted on the Dense Pixels YouTube channel at some point as well. That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you all very much for watching and listening, and we will see you all the next time.
See ya.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.